Hey everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. So we are headed towards the second round of the NBA playoffs. A couple of game sevens, both in the Western Conference. Clippers and Nuggets playing on Saturday night, and then the Rockets and the Warriors. Rockets coming back from a 3-1 deficit have a chance to have that happen against the Warriors. The Eastern Conference, semifinals are already set. It's Knicks Celtics and Cavs Pacers. You guys know what I'm going to be locked in on, but I know what the rest of the world is going to be locked in. The Cavs Pacers is going to feel like an NBA TV series because, Knicks Celtics, two of the biggest brands in the NBA, and that's just the way it is. But one thing I do want to talk about here is since Jalen Brunson hit that game-winning shot against the Pistons in Game 6 to win that series, the hyperbole and just the conjecture and the conversation that has been going on has gotten way too out of control. And y'all need to calm down, okay? Because I've heard he's the greatest Knick ever. He's going to have a better career than Steph Curry. And I'm like, guys, Jalen Brunson is an outstanding story and an outstanding player. This guy was a second-round pick. He was a role player with Luka Doncic. The Mavs just let him go. He goes to the Knicks. His dad is an assistant coach. And now he's maybe the best Knick that they've had probably in 25 years, outside of maybe Carmelo Anthony. That's it. That's off the top of my head. That is maybe the best player, lead player that this Knicks organization has had since they went to the finals in 1999 in that abbreviated season. But to act like he is the best, is on his way to being the best Knick of all time, which, it's a kind of a vague statement, but that he already is one of the greatest Knicks of all time. Are you guys freaking kidding me? Really? I even looked this up. I did an AI search on Google. Jalen Brunson's name is not even mentioned there. I know AI is stupid. Willis Reed, Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier in his ridiculous suits now calling games, Charles Oakley, Allen Houston took this team to the NBA Finals as an 8th seed in 1999 when Patrick Ewing was hurt. John Starks? What are we talking about here? And then the Steph Curry discussion. Steph Curry's won 4 championships, guys. The Knicks haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, since that 99 season. They've been out of the second round, I think, the last 3 years, and they've been out of it 4 times the last 25. Why don't you get to the conference finals before you start crowning this guy? And, he's become kind of a divisive player because of his flopping and, because of his foul baiting tactics and whatnot. And listen, I think he's a championship player. He won championships, 2 of them at Villanova in college. But guys, they haven't gotten out of the second round yet. And you're already calling him and comparing him to one of the great players in the history of the league in Steph Curry. And you're already, anointing him as one of the greatest Knicks of all time. What did Patrick Ewing not exist? Patrick Ewing is one of the greatest players of all time. I think he was one of the 75 best players in the league history. Like Bernard King. Carmelo, like, say what you will about Carmelo. Like, he never won a championship, but at least he got to a conference finals. It wasn't with the Knicks, but he got them to the second round. I know Jalen Brunson has done it more times than him, but still. What are we talking about here, man? This was a mind-numbing thing that Willis Reed, one of the great moments in NBA history, comes out, basically couldn't even walk. One of the great moments in NBA history, and he's able to help them win a championship. Walt Clyde Frazier is literally doing commentary because of how great he was. And then, like I said, Patrick Ewing was, if not for being and Patrick Ewing went to 2 NBA finals when he was healthy, and then the third one was in 99 when he was hurt. But if not for Michael Jordan, and Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing probably wins an NBA championship for the Knicks. Can we let Jalen Brunson just play a little bit and actually accomplish more than getting to the second round before we start crowning people? Like, what in the world is this dialogue that has been going on in NBA circles and in Knicks circles? Like, I get that the Knicks are, in my eyes, and I talked about this in when I think the Knicks are pretenders. I think they're going to lose in 4 or 5 games to the Celtics, and maybe you're bound to surprise me. But hey, you know, when you think about the Knicks, considering where they play, Madison Square Garden, world's most famous arena, considering the city that they're in, New York City, they are one of the historically most underachieving franchises, maybe in all of sports. Maybe in all of sports. Like, they've had opportunities to win championships, and I think they only have one. I mean, guys, you're facing a franchise that's won 18 of them. Like, I get the conversation about Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown being compared to the greats in Boston Celtics lore, because at least they won a championship. And you know what they've done a lot in the last like 7, 8, 9, 10 years? They've been to conference finals. They've been to NBA finals. I may not like Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown, but at least they've done something in this league, okay? They've won a championship. They've won games at a high level, and in some cases they have underachieved, but they compounded it and they made it better by winning last year against Dallas. And they've built something over the years. Let's let this thing bake a little bit with Jalen Brunson. This is the second year in a row we've had this conversation about how great Jalen Brunson is. And there's no question that he has been an astonishingly great get for the Knicks. Really. Because this franchise, like I said, is historically just underachieved. They found this guy, the Mavs, for whatever reason, and they can mourn over that along with Luka Doncic. They had both of them on their team, and now Luka, got eliminated from the playoffs, but hey, he's in LA. And Jalen Brunson, you let get away for nothing. So that's another separate issue with Nico Harrison. But this whole idea that Jalen Brunson, we're already comparing him to some of the greats in the league and some of the greats in the history of his franchise, which people forget there are a lot that played for the New York Knicks. Come on, guys, grow the fuck up. Really? This is lunacy. Lunacy. My sister, who is not even really that big of a basketball fan, saw the Steph Curry thing and was like, what in the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? Just because you guys are like annoyed with Steph Curry and he's won 4 championships and he's the greatest shooter ever, you want to try and find the next guy? Here's a thought. Get to the NBA Finals and win one. And then we can have the conversation. Even then, I think it would be too early. But seriously, sometimes basketball conversation can just get way out of line. And what annoys the shit out of me is the Cavs have been sitting there for a week after winning a series by a combined 122 points, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're talking about what's going to happen with their ex-player LeBron. Some fans in the fan base want them to get LeBron. No thank you on that. I don't want a 40-year-old LeBron if it means sacrificing any of this team. They're talking about the Knicks going to 6 games with the Pistons. One of my dear friends, Lane, she's a Pistons fan. She didn't even expect them to get to 6 games in this series. She thought maybe they could win. But realistically, the Knicks are fortunate to get to the next round. And you guys are talking about Jalen Brunson being the best Knick and one of the great players in NBA, and amongst one of the great players in the NBA now and in the future and maybe in NBA history? What the fuck is this, man? Grow up, man. You Knicks fans are out of your goddamn minds. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.